a passionate instigator and dynamic problem solver. Dr. Kevin Ross Emery, the host of the Dr. Kevin Radio Show, will be taking you outside the box, behind the curtain, and identifying the load of BS we are fed every day. And now, Dr. Kevin.
Hello, 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 and welcome to another edition of the Dr. Kevin Show here on OMTimes, where we're changing the world, wait for it, one ohm at a time. This week is our second Thursday of the month, and that's always when I get into just as much mischief as her husband and my husband will allow with Reverend Lori Powers Otto. We call this Thoughtful Thursday. We want to make you think. We want to share people and ideas and things that are doing thoughtful things in the world, or perhaps they're just thought-provoking. We do have a guest on today, which we don't often have on a Thoughtful Thursday, but we're going to ramp that up for 2021. And so after Lori and I do a couple of minutes of greetings, and I share my hot topic of the day, for those of you who are new, I always share a hot topic, which is either something that gets me hot under the collar or warms the cockles of my heart. So you have to go to wait and see to see which end the flame is on tonight. Lori, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Kevin. Always fun to be here. We'll see how much trouble we get into tonight.
Just make sure you don't make it sound like too much fun. I don't want to get your husband irritated at me.
I think it's all good.
Oh, it's all
and
good.
Jeff loves
Okay.
me. Your husband loves me. I'm all set. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, that's true. I think there are days he likes you better than he likes me, but that's okay. So, anything before we get into the guest and the hot topic? Is there any shining pieces of illumination you would like to fall from your lips tonight?
No.
No? Well, there we have it. Stay tuned. Hold on to the edge of that seat. And let's see what's going to unfold tonight on the Dr. Kevin Show. So, here is my hot topic, and I am going to go to a hot topic that unfortunately, or fortunately, how it depends you look at it, it does get me hot under the collar. And we don't always do a hot topic on this show, but in these times, I just couldn't resist, because this one really got me hot under the collar. And that is the disrespectful way in which some members, we won't mention names, like Howley or Cruz or Graham, are sitting in these Senate trials to make sure that somebody who tried to, overthrow the government and become a dictator and stay in power after he was voted out, led to the deaths of people and the destruction and all of that stuff, that as the presentation's being made and you're seeing the actual horrors of what happened, that they wouldn't even look at the screen. They doodled on their pieces of paper. They looked down. Now, it should have been they were looking down in shame and embarrassment, because they contributed to this effrontery to our democracy by supporting a lie, supporting the big lie. That we all know, if you tell a big lie often enough and consistent enough, and it doesn't get, quote-unquote, proven otherwise, that people will buy into the lie. They take actions because of the lie. We're hearing these people that were patriots that were going to, I really think, thought that they'd get Trump back in the White House and he'd pardon them all if anything happened, because he told them to do it, and they did it. But the fact that our senators that we're paying money to don't even have the respect and the decency to look honestly at what they contributed to, shame on them. And it has me hot under the collar. We're going to see what Lori has to say. Then she's going to invite in today's guest. And he gets to weigh in on this topic if he'd like, or he can choose to dodge the bullet. So I'll probably bring it back around and hit him right square between the shoulders if he does, because I like to hear my guest's opinions. Even if they're foolish enough to not agree with me. It's still okay. Lori, what are your thoughts?
Well, Dr. Kevin, and I know this is going to shock some of the listeners because this is not what they expect from me, but I think John McCain is rolling over in his grave and is so ashamed of his so-called best friend, Lindsey Graham, who is a weak, despicable man. And yeah, I did say that. How dare he betray those people? How dare any of them betray those people? Do you think those people attacking the Capitol were going to stop and say, are you Republican or Democrat? No, they weren't going to. They were going to kill Mike Pence and Nancy Pelosi and anybody else they got their hands on. And because my sister used to work security at the Capitol, it's especially important to me. They need to be paying attention. They need to respect the Constitution. They need to respect the American people. They need to respect their colleagues. They don't have to like them or agree or whatever, but we need to be able to work together as a country. And all their crap about this is dividing the country, bullshit. Letting these people get away with it divides the country and emboldens them to take more future. Somebody, that they value will get killed, because obviously they don't care about the 5 people that did get killed. And yes, I'm sorry, it also gets out under the collar, and not at all what we're going to talk about, people. We are talking good stuff tonight.
I think our guest tonight does something with taking out the trash. Could we buy him a ticket to the Senate so we could take out some there in the form of Holly Cruz, Graham, and a few others? I mean, what do you think? Go ahead and introduce him. Let's put him on the spot.
Well, I invited my dear friend Brendan DeKemper to come on because I've talked a lot about Litter Crew and the wonderful things that they're doing. And I just think Brendan is a spectacular man, and I am so proud to know him. And so I wanted him to share how Litter Crew came about, why Litter Crew came about. And if he'd like to go to D.C. and take out the trash, I'll go with him. Brendan, you're on.
Well, what an introduction. Thank you. Don't make me cry before I'm supposed to give a speech, right? No, just and I'm very honored to know you as well. And, thank you guys for having me on tonight. This is fantastic. And what a hot start to your conversation. It's actually funny too, because I have a podcast with the owner of the brewery that I work at called Stimulus Podcast, and we were actually talking about the incitement trial and what's going on in DC right now too. So it's just a very hot topic of conversation in general. But Litter Crew, how it started. So 2019 Earth Day. My fiance, Kimmy, woke up and was like, hey, we always talk a big game about how we care about the earth and what are we doing, really? And I was like, that's a great point. She's like, let's go pick up trash at Wasserman Park in Merrimack, one of our local parks that we love going to. And, I was a little hungover that morning. I was like, I don't want to do that. And she's like, come on, Brendan, let's do something good. It's Earth Day. I'm like, all right, fine. So we got trash bags, some gloves, went to the park. Lo and behold, we filled up, 2 or 3 full trash bags in just, an hour and a half of walking around. And we were just disgusted by how much litter was just in this park. And then I got to thinking, I'm like, man, if there's this much litter in this park, what's it like other places? Or when you drive down the road and you're just looking at the side of the road and there's just trash all over the place. So I was like, hey, let's start something. And we came up with the name Litter Crew, New Hampshire. And so what we do is just organize events around the state, and we clean up trash. And I mean, what really got me started into volunteering as well and community service was when I was going to Southern New Hampshire University. I worked for the CCEL, which is the Community Center of Engaged Learning. And my job was pretty much organizing events with local nonprofits or organizations. So I did a lot of work with Girls Inc. and Families in Transition and Habitat for Humanity. And I would try and just rally other college students to come to these events with me and just do some community service work. So it's always just been something that I've been passionate about. And then Litter Crew has just kind of exploded in the past year or so. I mean, with the pandemic and everyone being at home too, it's easy to socially distance outside, and we'll provide masks if we don't have them or anything, and protective gear. And we were doing 2 events a week all summer of 2020. So Hampton Beach was one of our big targets this year because Hampton Beach just got flooded with people, and people who like to litter is what we found out.
Isn't that a shame? I mean, come on, there's trash cans everywhere, and there's even recycling containers, if I remember correctly.
There's trash. There's trash everywhere. Unfortunately, a good part of it is laying on towels in the sun.
Yeah. Busy mood today.
But I'm just glad to say that I'm glad to hear that you were appalled by the amount of trash that was in that Merrimack Park that you picked up, and you had this epiphany because, you know, we all know Merrimack people really think a lot of themselves, and hearing how trashy they are just warms the cockles of my heart.
We're awesome. You know, you could move here, join the club.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to. But I just.
Yeah. I'll pass.
I just know. I heard it. No, I heard a quote too. You know, when I was starting Litter Crew, and it was just like, it was like, if you want to change the world, you have to change yourself. And at the end of the day, I knew if no one else is out there going and cleaning up litter or trying to make a difference about it, it's my responsibility as a member of my community to take action, take lead, and people will follow. And as a result, I know people who are going out even once a week without Litter Crew. They just go out and clean up their neighborhood, or they saw a part of the road that just was dirty one day, and they're like, you know what, they'll text me like, hey, I'm going out here. If you can meet up, great. If not, I'm still going to do this. And that's the whole point. It's just to be a positive impact on people, to show them the harmful effects of what it's doing to our environment and our communities, and just making a difference. Because we don't have to, you can't change the world right away, but maybe if you change enough people's minds, that's a start.
Can you find enough people that have minds that are working so they can be changed? That's my question.
You'd be surprised, but yes, it's we don't judge on the political realm. I have people who are on every side of a political party that come out to events, and I appreciate that they care enough at least about what I'm doing with the environment to come out, and then we can talk politics at the bar or somewhere else.
Well, no, that wasn't a political comment about the mind. It's just, it amazes me how often I watch people be completely blind to what is around them, whether it's trash on the ground or racism happening in front of them, or homophobia, or even misogyny, and you say, can you believe that? And they go, what? What did I miss? Life. You missed life. So now you said this is a nonprofit?
So that's what we're working towards right now. I'm in the process of making it a nonprofit. There's a few more hurdles that I need to go through. I've learned with starting up a nonprofit, but that is the eventual goal. Hopefully, by this summer we'll be a registered nonprofit in New Hampshire.
Yay!
Well, I think that, it would be great for you to, if you have it now, have you designed the logo yet for Litter Crew?
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. We have a logo. It's in the trademarking process as well right now, and copyright process. We have a website. It's littercrew.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the little social medias as well. We're even on LinkedIn right now. But we're going through all that. We're just we're going through the business plan right now, and just figuring out mission statements, vision statements that can really help us achieve, being the nonprofit we want to be.
That's great, because I got this. Yeah, I have been a little irreverent through most of the show so far, but at some point I actually straighten up and get serious.
Never.
But never. Thank you, Lori. You can disconnect her now. No. There is, well, because I'm looking. And first of all, we are on our first break. We will be having a break, and we're going to come back with Litter Crew and Brandon
DeKemper.
Here on the Dr. Kevin Show with myself and Lori Powers Otto.
Conscious media for conscious minds. OMTimes. Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of OMTimes magazine's flagship radio show, What is Going On? My passion is sifting through information, research, and innovations from new thought teachers, speakers, and researchers pushing back the boundaries of what we know about life, energy, metaphysics, and the universe. I love shifting perceptions about who we are, why we're here, and how quickly impossible becomes normal when we open our minds, expand our awareness, and accept that the only limits that exist are those we place upon ourselves. So if you're the kind of forward-thinking, eager investigator of what lies beyond the current reality that most perceive, why not make a date to come play with me in the field of possibilities at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday, and together we can discover what's really going on.
These are the sounds of a dinner that almost didn't happen. A dinner now served, thanks to people like you. Due to COVID-19, 17 million more Americans may face hunger. Feeding America is helping our neighbors in need. And if you're able, you can too. Donations are being accepted at feedingamerica.org/coronavirus. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Hello, and welcome back to the Dr. Kevin Show here on OMTimes. On this Thoughtful Thursday, we are bringing in somebody that is doing some real thoughtful work in the world to join Reverend Lori Powers Otto and myself, Brandon of Litter Crew. And you can find out more about him it's littercrew.com, and it's
correct.
Litter Crew, and it's Litter Crew on Facebook.
Yes, yes,
LinkedIn,
it is.
Did you say?
Yep, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram.
Okay, so shoot him, tweet him, face him, whatever. He's everywhere, just like litter. It's everywhere, and so's Brandon. What if you'd like to talk about Brandon? If you'd like to talk trash with Brandon, you can do so by calling in at 202-570-7057. And again, that's 202-570-7057. Call in with your comments or your questions. just remember we ask that you be respectful. I get to be the only disrespectful person on the show. Because I'm going to have to go on and check out because, you connected in through Lori, and I tend to have a lot of balls in the air, so I have to say I haven't checked out your stuff. I'm guilty as charged. But I'm just thinking of some great merch opportunities you could be doing with this to help you raise money for the nonprofit. And
I'd love to hear them.
And tie it into some events, like get a really stylish recyclable trash bag that you can pick the trash up in that's got like the logo on it, saving the world one trash bag at a time or something underneath with Litter Crew on it.
Ooh.
That people could buy, that they could go and that could be washed and reused, because the more we recycle, the less litter we have.
Absolutely.
So you kind of cross that over. And I had this idea because I have still do some consulting for businesses, nonprofits, stuff like that, about marketing, merchandising, all these different things. I'm just crazy. So I'm wouldn't it be great if you did some kind of, not a race, but a walk, like a walk for Mother Earth, or a walk for the earth, or a walk for clean earth, or however, and people that signed up and raised money could, instead of how many miles they walked, how many bags of trash did they pick up? That, you could do this kind of, and that it could still be a distance event if we need them in the summer, but cross over the fact of people love doing these walks, and, and you have all of this, the T-shirts and the hats and the merch. You could even do some masks, put it out there, raise multiple streams of income of doing this, and then you find a few sponsors who want to have their logo associated with you. I don't know. You might know somebody who works at a brewery. I'm not sure. They might want to sponsor something.
One or two.
They do.
No, that's not it. We need to talk off the air right now. You're giving away all the secrets. No, that's great. That is a great idea, actually. So, Able Ebenezer, I'll plug them because it's the company I work for, and they've been my biggest supporter from the beginning. They're a brewery in Merrimack, but they've bought all of my T-shirts. We've had 3 different ones so far. I haven't raised money off of the T-shirts, so I would give them out for free to any volunteers who came to events, and some people have donated money to us, to help me out. And I've had a lot of people buy litter picker-upper tools and different things. I've had restaurants and other breweries or meaderies, Ancient Fire and Thirsty Moose, they've donated buckets. Buckets are super useful during litter pickups, just for the fact of sharp items that may rip bags, so glass or metal or anything like that. So we love bucket donations. We're doing a bucket fundraiser when the summer starts as well, that we're going to have families or whoever, you can do it at your house or at a park, at a cleanup, but design your own Litter Crew bucket and paint on it, and either donate the bucket to Litter Crew or X amount of dollars for the bucket, and we'll provide all the buckets. But yeah, we're definitely looking into fundraising opportunities as well. Like I said, with the COVID-19, the pandemic last year, kind of put a little bit of halt on having big fundraising events, of course. But that is definitely something we are looking into.
Well, you could take the double. I mean, you probably didn't call into the radio show to have this conversation, so I can shut up.
No, you're good. You're good.
So, I mean, I love what you're doing, and I want to see people get involved. And I do have another question for you. But, the other thing is, if you can get people to do something with that when they're, again, the world is going to open back up. It always does.
Of course.
But you have one bucket where, part of the bucket is if you get people that could actually like participate, that one bucket gets passed for donations to litter crew and one bucket's for litter.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot, actually.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. You're filled with great ideas. You may be a little crazy, but you're filled with the good ideas.
I'm a lot crazy. Don't try to be polite. I'm a lot crazy. Go ahead.
He is a lot crazy, but in a good way. But people have to understand, litter crew is not just picking up bottles and cans. They picked up, 3 motorcycles one time?
Yep, we found 3 old. Yep, the Nashua Rail Trail event we did, we found over 30 tires, 3 motorcycles, most like the chassis of them without the tires. We found engines. We found a refrigerator. Just some big items that we've had volunteers and myself haul out of the woods, and then I'll contact the Department of Public Works for whatever town we're in and just let them know that, hey, we have these big items. And Merrimack's transfer station, where we bring our recyclables and litter, has been great. They've waived all the fees that normally it would, you'd have to pay if you're disposing of a tire or a microwave or something. So they've been very, very helpful and very good to us. And our DPW has also helped bring out trucks to some of our events so that we can just toss it right in the back of their trucks. Because most of our events are on weekends and they're not open, but they've been very generous about helping us out just because they want to be, helpful to the community, and I can't appreciate it enough.
And see, who says that talking trash can't make you popular?
Yeah.
Look at you baby Kardashian, you.
It's really funny that you brought that up, too, because I've been working on another podcast, and it's called Trash Talk. So it's very ironic that you said talking trash with Brendan. I almost like that better than Trash Talk.
Hey, I expect to get an invitation to be a guest on that podcast, just so you know.
Oh, you absolutely will be. Are you kidding me? Like I said, the way you started this show, that's kind of energy that I wanted my guests to have.
So, the thing is that now I know who took all the stuff I used to have to walk by on the Nashua Rail Trail. Now I know who to blame. Because I remember those motorcycles and those refrigerators and, and all the friggin' beer cans were empty in them. I mean, really, if you're going to leave your refrigerator, at least leave a couple of full cans.
I couldn't agree more.
Not that I checked, mind you. Would you repeat the name of the brewery you work for? You broke up when you said it, and I didn't get it clear before.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's Abel Ebenezer Brewing Company.
Okay, I did get it right. So like Ebenezer Scrooge. Okay.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. One of my favorites is Ebenezer Scrooge. Until he does that conversion thing at the end, then he's no fun at all. So, now, have you done any work involving trying to get in middle school science clubs or groups or classes to really engage something that can be fun and interactive for the kids, so they start to shift a mentality that as they pick up our sorry backsides and all the trash we left, that they'll have a better way of being in the world?
So before the pandemic, once the world opens back up, it'll be different. But before the pandemic, I actually was reached out by a few teachers that I know in elementary schools, middle schools, and even high school, and asked me to be a guest speaker, to be able to do a demonstration where we could go outside with the kids and actually do, a litter cleanup for one of their classes. But with everything going on, it obviously, it didn't pan out last year, the way we wanted it to. but I really do want to work with schools. I was the guest speaker recently for Southern New Hampshire University's honors program about just people who are doing things in the community and trying to make a difference in the world. So we'll be doing stuff with Southern New Hampshire moving forward, and I'm hoping to get involved with, more schools as well. There's a young man who, the reason the Nashua Rail Trail event happened was he reached out. So he came to an event with his family, and he told me, he was like, hey, I'm very passionate about litter, how bad it is for the environment. I want to go to college to become a environmental lawyer. And I was like, that's the coolest thing. I wish when I was 17, I wasn't littering and I was actually helping the community like you are. And so I told him this upcoming year, I'm going to have him spearhead some of our events, be the event leader, just take control. But it's nice to see that I do have a few people who are younger than myself or, are still in school and are so motivated about making a difference and being that change. Like I said, if I knew what I knew now at 17, Litter Crew would be completely different than what it is now, but I'm so thankful I'm just thankful that people care.
Hey, if you'd learned the truth at 17, Janice Ian would have written a song about you, so you can't look back. Well, I was in 6th or 7th grade. There was horse and buggies at that time. I don't think the car had been invented. But I actually wrote a whole set of lyrics that were to be sung to America the Beautiful, all about pollution.
Oh, wow.
Pollution and trash and litter. Like I said, 6th or 7th grade. I know that the local newspaper actually published it because one of my teachers submitted it because I was so upset by the litter and the trash. And I grew up in Kittery, Maine, which had plenty of trash, but we won't talk about them. We would have a tourist season, and these tourists would come, and it was bad enough just the people that were there that weren't aware of it, but the tourists would come and completely trash and then leave all the trash like somehow we were supposed to be like picking it up for them or something, which is your comment about Hampton Beach. That's the home area for me that I grew up in. And so I wrote this alternative set of lyrics to America the Beautiful about pollution and what we were doing. So I find all of this very fascinating. I was a troublemaker back then. Luckily, I straightened out and got quiet and conservative in my old age.
You know what? Yeah. For a 150-year-old man, you look pretty good, Dr. Kevin.
Oh, now, if you flirt with me, I'm going to have to tell your girlfriend. So anyways.
Hey, you might have not done research about Litter Crew, but I had a creep on your background a little bit.
Oh, did you find those videos? Don't talk about it. I'm a spiritual person on this show.
I was just about to say, I don't know what rating your show is, but I'll keep it PG for you.
It's X for excellence.
Oh,
we
good.
We get excellent people like you on there. So do you see you at this nonprofit actually creating other litter crews, like satellites across the country? I mean, how big is your vision? Because
100%.
It needs to be big. Okay.
No, absolutely. So, do you know about the organization called Four Oceans?
Yes.
Yeah. So, what they do? They're not a nonprofit. They are a for-profit company, but I think part of what they're doing really inspired me too, because I would love to see Litter Crew grow to the point where I can be able to have leaders in every single state or in all communities across the U.S. and the world, hopefully. But litter is so ingrained in our society that people, I feel like, don't even find it bad. Like, people don't even think about it. They, like, even as basic as one of the most littered items in the world, besides masks right now, is cigarette butts. And I, like, when I was a young, when I was 18 to about 20, I smoked cigarettes, and I was thinking back on it, and absolutely, I'd smoke my cigarette, and I'd toss it right out my car window, or I'd toss it right on the ground. And now it's like, not karma, but I'm picking up more cigarette butts than anyone else. And they're like, well, why do you have to pick up every single one at a cleanup? I'm like, that's the point. It's so bad for our environment that we need to pick up every single cigarette butt. And I want leaders in every single community across the world to just put a group together. Maybe it's just yourself and your significant other, or your best friend, or your family. But knowing that there are people out there and are willing to do what I'm doing and will make a difference, that's just what I want to do. I don't care, I'm not trying to get rich or, do this for any type of money reason. It's just, I care about our next generation of people and the future, that if we keep polluting at the rate we're polluting, there's not going to be next generations of people. The earth will be inhabitable at some point, especially if we're the ones who are ruining it.
Well, we've been doing that for a while, but so you really want to light a fire under those butts and get rid of them, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So you need to connect with me offline, because I have some additional thoughts which I won't go into on the radio show. But
cool.
You need to connect with me offline, because I may have some platforms or some connections that you may or may not be aware of that can help move this forward.
Wow, I appreciate that. I actually, I was working with one of my buddies too, and I mean, I won't go too in depth on it, but we are working on an app for your phone for Litter Crew, just to, like I said, not diving into too many details or anything, but it would be an app for people in different places to be able to connect, talk with me, talk with other people. What are we doing right? Event scheduling for different areas, but there's definitely there definitely is a brighter, a bigger, broader thing than just New Hampshire that I'm trying to work on. But like I said, I want to hone in on my home base first and get it down before I expand.
Okay. You're just going to have to be really careful about naming this app, because if you use trash or trashy in it, either they're going to think it's a porn app or they're going to think it's a dating app. And sometimes they're the same thing.
You're good. You're very witty. You're a very witty man.
So, yeah, you should see me when I'm awake. Anyways, we're coming up to our last break of the day. We will be back with Trash Talking Brandon, Litter Crew, and Lori giving us her deepest desire when it comes to trash here on the Dr. Kevin Show.
The Real Conscious Connection. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Vox Novus, the new voice. Vox Novus, the new dimension. Vox Novus, thought and movement leaders who will share from their experience and offer tools to help us navigate our rapidly changing world. My name is Victor Furman. Join me every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio for Vox Novus, the new voice.
The United States has the highest rate of incarceration in the world. At the Equal Justice Initiative, we believe mass incarceration has to end. There is this presumption of dangerousness and guilt that gets assigned to Black and brown people. We have to confront our history of racial injustice and commit to a new era of truth. There's something better waiting for us, something that feels more like freedom. Truth can inspire change. Please learn more at eji.org.
Okay, welcome back to the Dr. Kevin Show. We have Brandon from Litter Crew at littercrew.com. You can go to Facebook and find Litter Crew. You can find them on LinkedIn. You can find them on Twitter. You can find them on Instagram. So if you're looking for some really like sexy pictures of trash, go to Litter Crew on Instagram. Let's see about if anybody wants to call in, ask any questions about how they get involved or what's next or any kind of questions that, Lori and I are too dumb to ask, feel free to call in at 202-570-7057. That's 202-570-7057. So now I have a very important question for you.
All right.
What is your favorite brew at Ebenezer's? I'm taking it a small, craft brewery, right?
Yep, yeah. It is.
So tell me what's your favorite beer?
What's my favorite beer that we offer, or like a favorite style of beer that I like to drink?
You can answer both. I think you should answer at least one for your boss if he's helping you out so much. And for chance he's listening to this and you want to keep your job, I suggest you take the opportunity to promote yourself so that we can keep you employed long enough to make Litter Crew so you can quit. So work with me, Brandon, here. I'm trying to make you look good.
All right. So my favorite beer that we serve is called Victory nor Defeat. It's a double IPA. It's an 8% alcohol by volume, and it's a great beer. It's one of those beers that you don't drink more of two of at the bar, just for the fact of being able to make it home safely, or else I call my fiance and she gets mad, and that's fine. But and then we also have another line of beer. It's called Ingenuity. We've done a couple different styles. Our brewers are very just smart guys, and they've mixed around with different hops and yeast. And this newest one is Ingenuity number 10. It's a 10% New England style IPA, and it's easy. I told him if we put a little orange juice in it, it would taste like a beer mosa. It's so good. It comes out next Friday, and I'm very excited for it.
Not tomorrow. The next Friday.
Right, correct. Not tomorrow. The Friday after this week. I believe it's February 19th.
The day after my birthday. Okay.
Yeah.
Three of those, and you're trashed, right?
Yeah. Okay. The first small batch that one of our brewers made, he forgot to mention to me that it was a 10%er, and I had two of them, and I started drinking the third one, and he looks at me and goes, "Hey man, that's a 10% beer," and then my head was like, "Yes, yes, it is." you stand up to go to the bathroom, and you're like, "Wow, that is a little stronger than I thought it was."
But that's why I drink Revuelta. My favorite.
I only do the soft stuff. 10 or 12 martinis, and I call it.
Yeah.
I have no idea. But anyways, so are you ready for the $1 million question, Brandon? Which will make the decision whether I come to your brewery or not?
I hope so. Let's hear it. Oh, don't hate me. Right, as of right now, we do not. We're a very small brewery, but that is something a lot of customers have asked about. So it could be in the works in the near future.
See, for us people that can't do gluten, of course, my favorite beer is a Guinness, and I can drink that because the way it's processed, it doesn't have gluten in it. But anyways, so. What do you see your next steps, and what can our people that want to support you in the audience, what can they do to help you Clean up your act, Brandon.
Look, I think the next steps are just continuing what we're doing right now. We're just focusing on New Hampshire at the moment, being good people, getting out in the community, just picking up trash. If you can do it by yourself. You don't need a group of people to support you, to help you. Like I mean, if you need a litter picker upper tool because you're a little older and your back is going to give out if you're bending over picking up trash all the time, I'll be glad to give you any. I have tons of them. Reach out to the litter crew. I have all the supplies you would need to do a cleanup. I'm more than happy to supply anything you need to help us out. I mean, like I said, we're going through the steps of becoming a nonprofit. So once I get a bank account and everything and a business account, if you want to Venmo, PayPal, whatever it is, money, or if you want to go on our Amazon wish list, you can find that on our litter crew page and buy us some more materials for cleanups. That's just a couple things you can do, and like I said, just be a good person. Go out and pick up trash. It's everywhere. It really is. Like once you've opened your eyes and you've seen it, it's almost like you can't unsee it. I think that's my biggest problem is it almost not annoys people, but we'll be driving down the road. And I'm like, man, do you see all that trash on the side of the road? And they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, just look at the side of the road. There's so much trash everywhere. Yep.
Well, do you think at some point you will get qualified for one of those where if people buy stuff on Amazon, they can donate some part of it to you, the Amazon Smile program? Is that something
absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, that's definitely the goal.
Yeah, I mean, I like that we could go on to Amazon, go on to your wish list and get stuff that helps you guys do it. Even if you are making digs about my age and a need to help me with something. I heard the dig there.
There was no dig. There's no dig.
Yeah. I hear that.
Some people get white hair at 30. I don't know.
Lori, he's getting himself in deep trash here. Don't make me pick him up.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm looking for a new
gray hair his whole life.
What would you say, Lori?
My son said gray hair his entire life, so.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
he did have you for a mother, so.
Remember, I know where you live, buddy.
And it's been a long time since you've got here.
So, just there right before Christmas at some point.
Oh, I've moved your girl, by the way. I repotted the bamboo plant into a huge pot, and now she's floating in a little boat in front of Bambi the bamboo. So when you get to the point of the nonprofit is actually up and running, Brandon, let's reach out to me and let me know about that, because I'll also see about getting you on my podcast, Laughing, Loving, and Alive.
Oh, wow, that'd be awesome.
We can see about doing that with you. And again, I love being able to give a megaphone to people that are doing good work in the world, even if they can't buy me a beer or they make fun of my age. They, talk down to me. That's okay. I still support them.
I appreciate that.
Lori, what other questions do you have before we go on air? And next week, we will be having Rob Stewart and Planetary Influences, where we will be talking about the upcoming astrology and what's going on in the skies that may be trash in your life, no pun intended. So make sure that Lori will be joining me with Rob Stewart of InnerCenter.org next week on the Dr. Kevin Show. So make sure you come back a week from today to tune into that. But Lori, what closing questions do you have for Brandon? I mean, you dragged him in. Say something to him.
Well, I don't have a question for Brendan, but I just want to support one of his points about the cigarette butt. Because there are states you're not allowed to throw cigarette butts out the window anymore because deer get addicted to them. And if you've ever hit a deer, you know how much damage that does to your car and it kills them.
Oh, yeah.
Or if you've through the state of Pennsylvania, there's dead deer everywhere, and that's one of the reasons why. They get addicted to those cigarette butts you're throwing out the window, and they go out to the highway to eat them. So stop doing that, people, please.
Yeah, I completely agree. Stop throwing them out your window.
I think, Brandon, that after you get Litter Crew up and going, you should start a 12-step program for deer. I mean, they're addicted.
See, and you know what? I care about animals addicted to cigarettes. All right. If I can quit, they can quit.
That's right.
I have to tell you, I go right through the roof. Right. You don't want to be in a car with me when I see somebody throw a cigarette butt out the window. I have occasionally been known to pick a butt up when somebody throws it out and hand it back to them and tell them, I believe you dropped this.
Like you said earlier, I think I just think more people should be like that. I'm the same exact way. Like quick little snippet story. I was at a Halloween, a small Halloween get together. There was only 6 of us or something, but there was a kid there being super homophobic towards these kids. Towards this gay couple who was there. And I couldn't sit around and just listen to it. And I was like, hey, dude, you got a problem? Like, dude, we got a problem. And I'm just I think if you see something going on or racism or something, it's your responsibility to absolutely call that out. And because if not, you're just as big a part of the problem as well. Because if you're letting those things roll by, then you're not saying it out loud, but you're showing people that you're okay with it. And it's not, and I'm not saying people who don't call out racism or homophobia are okay with it, but if you're not actively against it, then I feel like you are okay with it, in my opinion.
Well, it's no matter what it is, what it breaks down to is if you say nothing, you're saying a lot. And,
exactly.
You have to go up to that 17-year-old homophobe and say, don't worry, honey, in a couple of years, you'll figure out you need to come out, and you'll find a good man for yourself, and it'll all be good. So don't worry about it.
And that's too true, because I still think to this day that the only reason he was being a dick was probably because he was in the closet still and trying to, be his, masculine self. You mean the only reason he was because he wanted one? Oh, sorry. Hey, ooh. Oh,
I'm gonna get thrown off the air. I can tell that right now.
You're a riot. Just like you were talking about earlier.
Okay, so one more time. If you'd like to know more about what Brandon is doing, go to Facebook.com and look up Litter Crew. You can go to LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, or littercrew.com. Let's all get together and move some trash right along. Vote them right out of office. Brandon, thanks for joining us here on the Dr. Kevin Show, and I look forward to talking to you offline.
Thank you. You guys have a great night.
You too. Bye, guys. Bye.